Good evening, YouTube. Somebody hit that song in the background. I forget who sung it, but welcome back. A couple new subscribers. Definitely a huge thank you for subscribing. Leave a comment in any one of these videos on any kind of topic that you specifically may be looking for, and I will definitely touch on it. Explanation as to the time frame it's taken, well, that's going to be at a different type of video, but we're back with electrical on this one. And I've come across something that's annoying to me, but it was the old school way of wiring. But first, we're going to go back here to the panel and discuss how power works exactly. So come join me. Okay, now pardon the Frankenstein mess. I'm doing what I'm having to do to trace this out because it is utter chaos. But the way power works is it can only travel in a complete circuit. That's hence your light switches. It kills the circuit. It puts a break in the circuit. This is how your lights come on and go off with the flip of a switch. It's the same thing with power. Breakers. Breakers break the circuit. Now coming in from your meter outside, you have a 120 on this leg, 120 on this leg, then you'll have a neutral. We'll get to the neutral in a second, and this one will have a ground. I'm running that right now. Something that the supposed electrician that did this in the first place should have put on here, but how does this work? So as this runs on one or two legs, your doubles like your 220s will have double breakers, and what it does is it hits each leg. One leg is 120, the other leg is 120. Combined is 240. Now this travels to your appliance, to your bulbs, to whatever you're going to. It hits it, whether through a switch or directly at the appliance, and then it travels back through your neutrals. This would be your whites. This is why it's commonly mistaken when people think that neutrals are grounds or they're dead. No, they do carry current. Your current comes back to your neutral bar, which at the main panel only, you never ever combine your sub panel. We call that bonding. You do not bond a sub panel. Power travels the path of least resistance, and we'll get to that later in this video or in another one. But it travels back to your neutral. Some of it will return back to the meter out there, back to the power company. It's a continuous, non-stop loop. Then in case of, say, a short, well, power takes the path of least resistance, especially when you have metal boxes. So if there's no ground, well, then that metal box becomes electrified. It will shock you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and understand that there is a difference between electrocution and being shocked. However, when you have a ground fault will hit this ground. This here has very, very little resistance. These have more resistance. So when you have a ground on it, power always tries to return to the source. So you give it a good clean path. In case of a short out, your ground is your path. Now to the one thing that is annoying dealing with older houses or people that didn't know what they were doing, you notice how you have a black and white here? Black and white here. Lifesaver right there. Coming into this switch, or coming from the switch to this light, it would also be reversed up there. The reason for this is because the old school way of wiring, power hit the light first. And remember, power travels in complete circuits. So used to, all the light switch did was complete or break the circuit. Now, instead of doing that, you're either going to break your neutral or break your hot. Me personally, I break the hot. But you'll have power coming into your switch. It will come into the bottom of a switch, and then you'll have that same color wire come out where the second wire run into the light. This way it hits your switch first. If any of that isn't clear, feel free to comment, leave it in the sections, and we'll definitely touch base on it. And last but not least, you've heard me talk about GFI before. Just ignore the fact that this is up. This is an oddball switch. We'll just put it that way. But this GFI is a ground fault circuit interrupter. Don't confuse it with an AFCI or an ACFI. That's something that's in the breaker box, and that is totally different than this. It has the same principle, but it's different. This is made so that if there's any change in, say, a spike in voltage or a resistance of a certain amperage, this will trip. And you'll notice this is protected, bulb's protected, and 2 other sockets down the line protected. So if any of those get wet, anything short circuits, it will trip that GFI instead of electrocuting you. Any questions? Feel free to comment. Please like, share. Any new subscribers or any new watchers, please subscribe. And you know what, guys? I need some ideas for topics. So is it electrical, mechanical, plumbing, carpentry, life, politics? You name it, we'll hit it. Leave it in the comment section. Thank you and God bless.